Okay, so welcome. It is the 4th of October. It's the 15th Gno.land public developer call, and I will share the agenda with you guys. We are going to do things slightly differently today. Here's the agenda. Usually we start with the no contributors, but since it is a big topic, maybe we start with the vision for the portal loop, which also I had under the POC for Genesis libraries and manipulation tools, issue 119. And I think, Manfred, when you get your Miro board, let me see.
Yeah, sure. Let me 1 or 2 minutes.
Yep, that's good. I'm also trying to remind myself what the master issue is for the portal loop.
Maybe we can make a small feedback summary of Gnoches from Miloš or anyone else while I'm preparing the Miro board.
Yep, that sounds good. Actually, it's on the agenda first. I don't know if Morgan's here, but Miloš, do you want to give a quick feedback on Node.js?
Sure. In terms of the project, or just like general feedback?
Yeah, just I guess general feedback, since you were knee deep in it.
Okay. Well, where do I start? Yeah. So over I think the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've been working on a project. I think most of you know. It's basically called Gnoches. It's basically a DApp game that's kind of meant to really hide that the user, when they're playing the game, when they're playing chess, that they're using a blockchain in the backend. And to achieve this, we sort of have a lot of moving parts. We have obviously, like one of the initial parts is like the actual game. So at the front end, you have a backend, which is like the node and the deployed realms and packages that we use, and also you have the faucet that distributes the funds to the user, so they don't have to like click through, approve each transaction, or request funds, or go to a faucet to play the game or something like that. So the experience is kind of seamless. And so over the past 4 weeks, we've kind of discovered many like gaping issues and problems, not just like with the GNO repo, like the GNO VM, but also with the client libraries that we use for JavaScript. We've kind of figured out where were the bottlenecks that we had in terms of like orchestrating a huge DApp project like this. And over sort of the last 4 weeks, we've kind of added fixes, not just like the core GNO team, but also pretty much the entire company, the entire AIB team. So engineers from not like directly working on GNO even, they've kind of jumped in, and we've all contributed fixes and features and improvements, not just to make GNO better for Gnoches, but to make GNO kind of better for everybody. And the fixes that we've kind of implemented, and we've trial run some of the upcoming PRs that are scheduled to go into master, but are still like not merged in. For example, like the native bindings, the many fixes that we have that we've implemented for Gnoches, or that are going to be ported over to master. But also like the client library fixes that we've added. So anybody who uses the JS client, the GNO.js client, the Terminal.js client, we've made like releases they can pull in, and they contain like all the fixes. None of them are breaking in a sense that if you've used them before, you can't use them anymore. They're just like fixes for existing functionality that we've had. One of the biggest problems we had with the libraries were, I think it was in the way we handled like WebSockets, and in the way that the basically the protobuf encoding was not compatible with the amino encoding that the node was expecting. These have sort of since been fixed. And yeah. So general feedback, we've made, like I think, like in my mind, quantum leaps in terms of what we've uncovered and what we fixed and what we added in, and it's actually usable today, so people can use these fixes in their own projects, in their own sort of workflows. And one of the ideas behind the portal loop is give us a much quicker feedback loop, or allow us to iterate much quicker than work on a full-blown project like Node.js to uncover these things. It's just about like simplifying the process to make it easier for us to uncover these problems and fix these problems, than to go through a huge project and figure out, okay, like these are the problems that are blocking us now. But yeah. Overall, I think we're actually planning to launch the game to like the broader public. Currently, it's only limited to the people who are at GopherCon. So you can get a token. You sign up on a forum, you get a token to play, and using this token, you can like play the game against other players and win prizes. But I think we're going to release the game soon. I'm not sure about the exact timeline, but I think in like the coming weeks to like the broader public, so you can actually play the game. We're thinking about how to integrate the Gno wallet too. Morgan has like all of the information on this. I'm just a spectator for this like phase 1.5 and above. But yeah, this is sort of the current status of the project.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I guess, and we can also, maybe when Morgan joins, he can also give an update. But it was there are a few of us, I think, at GopherCon that are on here, but it was really well received. So that's good. And a lot of people, I think, enjoyed that we were trying to stress test ourselves, and that we were making it fun. So I think, I don't know, other people who were at GopherCon seemed like the Gopher community received Gno.land well and Node.js. And we had quite a large turnout for the tutorial, for the workshop.
Yeah. And one good thing is we started a MailChimp support group, so people affected by MailChimp services can join in and express their sadness.
No one invited me to that one, by the way, and I'm the one who started all your PTSD. So anyway, okay. I guess that was also an update on the Tendermint.js and also the Node.js.
Yeah. A huge shout out to I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's June Healy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From the Unblock team that unblocked us on the effort when we were in a pinch. So yeah, that's just a huge shout out for him.
Thanks, June He. Okay, so shall we?
Yeah, thank you, Miloš. And yes, the goal is to make Gno.js something not only for the previous event, but something we want to run continuously during the whole year, to maybe create other close competition during other events. So yeah, the project is not finished. It was a good rush. We need to make the rush now clean and extract the good information, extract the changes in a good way. But clearly the goal is to keep this project running, improving, maybe being one of the best way to discover more complex projects when you discover the Gno ecosystem. And now we have the portal loop, which is something we had in mind for a long time, but now it's being concrete that it becomes a priority. So the portal loop concept is to basically get the CI/CD experience you can get with Web 2 applications, where each time something is published on Git, you can expect having an instant feedback on how it works in staging, and not only in terms of code, but also in terms of data. So one of the most important concepts is the new eventually consistent staging, which is basically a testnet, except that we stop it, pull the last changes from Git, and start it regularly, but we don't limit to just starting it from scratch. We try as much as we can to just replay the previous history. So some transactions, when replayed, won't work, but most of them should work, especially if your contract API stays the same. So by doing this, we want to improve first the way you develop locally. So right now, when you are a Gno contract developer, most of the time you are limited to use Gno test, the CLI, or to manually upload something locally to try to test the rendering, the output from Gno.web. The goal is to make the local development way easier, more based on what you have on Git. And we plan to make a local node that can look for the local file system. That's already what we have, because right now we are loading automatically the examples folder when you start a Gno.land node. We'll try to push this forward with automatic balance creation, so you don't have to edit your balance file again and again. We want to try replaying history, so it can be your local history, or it can be the production history. You can want to just download production transactions and try to replay them locally, so your local node is basically the same as the official testnet. So it won't be a real testnet. It's clearly a staging. You can't expect the block number to be consistent. And it will be 0 heads regularly. So you can't expect having a full experience like having indexers. But at the end, you can expect that locally, when you develop, you have more comfort. And what I want is this, to have the Gno.land website not being a static website anymore, but to be the home page. So displaying the result of a realm, the home realm. The home realm won't be just about having a static website made dynamic. It's not just about giving some news here. It's about integrating the first required system features we have in mind. So regarding the contribution, regarding proof of contribution, regarding the roadmap, so basically on-chain project management. So you can expect basically Gno.land to be like test 3, but instead of having this page, we have a dynamic listing of things we want to do. So project management with the project, sub-project, the team working on it, the current concerns, the current issues, the current milestones. So a good way to have an overview of the project. The goal is not to migrate GitHub to on-chain, but to have on the home page and always up-to-date status of where is the project currently. And this dynamic result for people consulting the website will also be a way for us to bootstrap the DAO features, the proof of contributions features, the review features. So the V1 is not about having all the review process, but about having on-chain objects. So a project, an issue, maybe a milestone, it will be defined, where you can follow what are the current priorities. And we name it a portal loop because when you will be here, it can be the content of something. It can be, I don't know, the website. You don't like the gray. You want to add some information in the footer or whatever. The goal is to say, oh, I want to fix this. I want to fix the doc. I want to fix the contract. I want to I want to interact with the contract. You will be from the portal and you will have two options, either to go on Realm and interact with it with the confidence that your call will be applied and kept in the best effort way. Or you can say, oh, I want to change the website or just the source of the contract. And you will be able to go to GitHub, make the change, then you can run locally or wait for deployment. But yeah, the goal is to not have, as we have today, an AVL package which is deprecated in production and only it's basically different on Git than in production. It will make having a testnet number 4 not optional because we want a testnet before going mainnet, but it will reduce the need of testnets. We'll focus the testnets mostly for validating and coordination, but about trying Gno.land as someone who discovers about us improving the coordination contracts or Gno.web or whatever, we can just expect working and wait for the next deployment. So this is the portal loop. In practice, we started enumerating various things we want to do. So there is a list of contracts that we need to do, which will be basically the proof of concept / very minimal, very MVP of what is a DAO, a sub-DAO, teams, and basic voting options. So it will be clearly something not finished in terms of what we expect for the next level of DAO management system, but it will be enough to be, okay, right now, we have the option to use a DAO. So once we have this, the portal loop won't be only about improving the local development. it will be right now, for instance, I'm not sure I know the public key of everyone in the team. This will change. We will have choice later. We can still use Signal, Slack, whatever, but we can start saying, hey guys, to choose where we want to eat for the lunch. I made a small contract. So yeah, even simple things and useless things will allow us to basically write more contracts, have more use cases, so more dog fooding. So a list of contracts that I bootstrap because basically it's a plan from a discussion with Jay, and I think it's better that I make the MVP and then we iterate. New eventually consistent is like a meta issue because it contains sub-tasks, but basically the goal is to achieve this concept of being able to launch a node with latest Git changes and then applying the transactions. It's something we already made manually, so we know it works. Now we want to make it simple and reliable. But the goal with this is to be able to just change something in the GitHub contract. Sometimes it breaks, sometimes it just works as it was before. Especially, for instance, if you just change the way the contract is making the rendering, you can expect a full compatibility with the previous transactions. And yeah, it's a staging. It comes with no guarantees. It's not a real testnet. It's even more a testnet than a testnet. The testnet have more guarantees than the new Gno.land staging. So people can try to bridge indexers, but actually we don't care. It's not a real network. Add the extra driver for Gno.land integration test. So basically this PR is related to the portal loop because we want to also create basically this Gno dev. So Gno dev will be a way for people to work with a Gno.land node and Gno web, but in a development mode. Right now, if you want to develop locally, you run a full node that you need to trash manually when it's finished, and you run a Gno web connecting locally. The goal with Gno dev is both to make this thing simpler, but also to go progressively in the spirit of Gno is a unique binary you need. It's like Go. You have Go. You're a Go developer. You need Go. That's all. You can have additional binaries if you want, but by default, you can just stick with Go. And here the goal is to make Gno dev with potential -watch to auto reload based on file system changes, with potentially -in-mem to have an in-memory thing that when you Control-C, it just disappear. And to make this, we need to make the Gno.land node more like a package that we can reuse. And this is what TXstar, the TXstar PR from Guillem made. TXstar is about adding a new way to make integration tests. But internally, if you look at the PR, Guillem made some changes in packaging Gno.land, allowing to run more various kind of Gno.land nodes, including a full in-memory one. So this is why we need this. Once again, I say portal loop and the target is Gno.land. In practice, I suggest everyone working on us with this to just consider that we need to make the local development better. And once the local development is better, the goal is to have an auto deploy of this better development, which is Gno.land with maybe a better infrastructure. But the goal is not to focus on Gno.land, but on local development. We have Gno web improvements, which is actually in to-do. Actually, it's to-do because we can do it, but it's not a dependency. And there was a question from Mr. Thomas about why don't we have 903, which is improvement on the Fit UI library. Actually, it goes completely in that category of optional things. But the good thing about portal loop is that 903 could become a very good portal loop ideal target because it's completely about UI. So then you can easily just run everything locally and make small changes. Actually, I don't know how Alexis was working, but it was probably very painful. The goal of the portal loop is to make this kind of contribution easier. So I think I added it in the project. It goes in the optional categories that can wait for portal loop to be finished, but that clearly is in the target of when we have the portal loop, we clearly want this kind of UI improvement to become the norm. So maybe on a weekly basis, having small PRs, improving a little bit what is displayed. So it's in the to-do list, but it's not a blocker. I will try with a Miro board to make a difference. Sorry, Manfred. There is a comment. Name for the GNO dev, Gnomon. Yeah, but it's okay to have another name than GNO dev, but I want it in the GNO binary. That's the thing. Oh, and yeah, one thing, maybe I should speak about this first. I request your help to make this PR finished or mergeable or merge it. It's basically introducing the concept of GNO SDK in the mono repo. The main thing about GNO SDK is not that we need it, because we don't need it. We will need it later, but GNO SDK is the place where we want to create versatile tools that are useful for blockchain launchers that are not Gno.land. For instance, something that we clearly want, that is mandatory to run other chain, is to have helpers to coordinate proof of stake network creations, where people are sharing the public key to be in the Genesis, etc. We don't need this for Gno.land. So GNO SDK is not needed, but it will allow us to basically redirect people who want to improve Gno.land by saying the improvement is clearly good, but what we don't want is to make Gno.land more complex. So please make your contribution in GNO SDK. So this PR is important to unlock having in the same repo some places that should stay minimal, Tendermint2, GNO VM, and Gno.land, not that much, but TM2 and GNO VM and some other parts. One of my plans is to be more clear about this and indicate this thing is about staying minimal, this thing is about being more flexible. But once we add this, we can make something different. We can clearly go in a different direction where GNO, the GNO binary, becomes more complex. So the restrictions we have about having few dependencies, etc., it should apply on TM2, on GNO VM, but it doesn't. We clearly want to not make something so ugly, but we can have more liberty when working on the GNO binary. And that's another goal of the portal loop, is to have official places where minimalism is what we want, and other places where flexibility and UI and DX, I don't know, visual diff, maybe useful color code in the terminal. Whatever makes sense can be considered more easily in the GNO binary. So GNOMon, why not? As soon as it's GNO space mon. So yeah, need your help, guys, on this one. It's not a technical dependency, but it will unlock anyone who wants to make something that is useful but go against the minimal philosophy for most part of the project. Then we have Genesis manipulation. So one of the main concepts of what we're doing with the portal loop is to basically, when we stop a node, we want to transform the previous history, which can be local or downloaded from a repo, to make it being integrated when you start a new node. So basically, we need to translate a list of transactions into a Genesis. This is something we actually have, but we want to add tools around. It's not because GNO is unique. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Most of the blockchain projects have tools and libraries to help creating and manipulating Genesis files. So here there is an issue regarding creating the set of tools we need for portal loop, but making it in a long-term way. So it will be in GNO SDK/pkg/Genesis. And the goal is to help creating with the CLI, so the usual commands like add balance, add account, or other commands you want to run with the CLI, but also have some helpers like auto add local directory of contracts. So basically, what we do with the examples folder is probably what people will want to do when they start a new GNO VM chain. They will want to start a new chain with a set of initial contracts, which can be a mix of what we provide with Gno.land, but also their own contract that make their custom blockchain a thing that makes sense. So I clearly want automated so a tool that takes directory and creates initial transactions. And I also want something similar for the balances. I clearly don't like the way we are currently using balances, where people are patching a file that they try to git in your before putting a PR. The goal is to have various helpers that will try to autofill the balances. One of the balance we can autofill is the one based on the previous transactions. So before replaying all the transactions, the goal is to make sure that the transaction won't fail because of a gas problem. So we need to add a minimal balance for every account making a transaction in the history. And another one I clearly want is an automatic detection of your local Gno key list. If you have one or many accounts in your Gno key list, I consider that GnoDev should automatically load them with balance. So once we have this, once we have a Gno key, a Genesis SDK Genesis library, and we start having more flexibility, like automatic discovery, and maybe things, good patterns like having a Genesis file that we commit and a genesis.local.txt file that we don't commit, we can clearly gain a lot in flexibility. We can still share recipe, but you can mainly expect GnoDev to always work, both if it's the first time you run it, or if it's if you already run it before and try to make something more complex or with another history. Make the friction script in this repo more reliable, so it's not in Gno, it's in takes export. It's another repo where we have the history of the previous blockchains. And my goal is optional for a portal loop, but I clearly want to offer this option for people to run a local node that will not just have the local data, but also using the production data. So since we need to keep an history of the transactions on the various mainnets, on the various testnets, sorry, my goal was to say, let's store the thing on a Git repo that can be used also by the developer. So by just moving where we store the thing from a S3 or whatever to the Gno repo, to this repo, we can expect to use it for production and to allow anyone to maybe add a makefile command or a Gno command to synchronize a previous history locally. So my technology implement is many small ideas about adding the block number, maybe the build time, maybe the Git version in the footer, so increasing the debuggability. Since we will have a new staging, since we will have local node who will be more common to use, the goal is to make various small things to increase debug, comfort, and also to make it more obvious that you are currently on the main, on a local node, on a testnet tree. So maybe we'll add some different logo or color codes to quickly identify where you are working. Introduce personal realms. Another concept of portal loop is that we will have, so right now, if someone wants to create a testing realm or personal realm, they can do it, but they need to use Gno key. The goal is to keep this option if possible, but to also make it common for people. Maybe not everyone, I still don't know, but make it giving an option to basically propose a personal realm which is on Git. And so yeah, then you have two options. So we need to make this not before the portal loop, but soon after, like the UI improvement, to basically increase the return of investment of this portal loop. And RGH so yeah, this one will be needed at some point to make the dynamic part of the blockchain where we want to have contribution tracking on the home page. It's not needed technically. I can make something which will be higher level without a GitHub link, but there is a goal to start having GitHub data on chain and start being able to link things from on-chain to GitHub and from GitHub to the chain, maybe with a bot later. So I will just move things in backlog that are not mandatory, but in practice, you can still work on it if you want, and it can unlock other things too. Yeah, even this one is optional, but in practice, I think that if we do it, it will make the rest of the things more easier to develop. So yeah, portal loop is something I will develop on. I will try on Miro to have all the issues and make things like this, where you can have a DAG of dependency. And my goal will be to try giving more details on subtask and to give the hand to Miloš, who will lead this project, and I will assist Miloš, so that we can have something that basically this Kanban board, but with smaller tasks that anyone can assign. So we can try making a more intensive project, basically. I will need to go soon. Is there any question that I can share right now? Reply, sorry.
I guess I have a question. You've mentioned the work style POC.
Yeah, I will make a POC / very minimal MVP.
Okay.
The goal is because there is this thing will probably have many iterations, and most of them will happen during Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So I just want to make the minimal thing because if I ask 10 different people, what do you think is the minimal POC of this? Some people will say, okay, just make a simple contract that has a way to update the full page with Markdown. And actually, it's true. You can do this and have management made off-chain and just publish with the contract. But the thing is that with J, we clearly want from day one to have, basically, it's a change of culture. We are now going more and more on-chain. So every day, the project will be better in terms of engine, TM2, GNU, but also the set of contracts we want for the launch, etc. So it was finally important to have from day one some basic DAO features. So the Works DAO POC actually won't be about having real contribution points, but I will already have some kind of attributes to users and arbitrary level. So we won't have ways to elect people based on votes and attribute points yet. This come after, but at least we will have the Works DAO in terms of having a place on the blockchain where you can verify if a user is a Works DAO member and if they have a level. So it's Works DAO in terms of structure, not yet in terms of usage. In terms of usage, we plan to be more on-chain, but you can expect making less than maybe one transaction per week for most people, just to make a quick update. So we are not looking to make a huge shift, but at least it's a difference where now we have a goal to improve the tools every day. So yeah, we need a POC that balance foundations and usefulness. So what you can expect from the POC of the contract is one, to have a dynamic dashboard. You open it, you see the directory of projects, the state. So Game of Thrones will have a live state on-chain, dynamic one. You will have a system of blocks to encourage each team to maintain their block. So for instance, there will be a realm named, where is it? Sorry, we'll have r/Gno.land /events maintained by the DevRel team. And you can expect r/Gno.land home to have some custom things for the home, but also to import events and to call events.renderblock. Something like this, renderblock. And by doing this, you can expect having a system of blocks like the previous Yahoo page or AOL page a long time ago, where some part of the main part of the home page is to give a quick insight of what is the concept of contribution, the development, the project, the launch. So quickly you know what to do, what is going on, etc. But the other concept is to start having this network of teams where everyone can update a status. So there will be the status in the directory of projects in terms of DAO. Each DAO will have a simple status that will be reflected on the home page. But for some things like the event, so basically we will remove the Gno.land website. So everything we have here should exist in some ways in the new system. So if we have events, we have a page with events, you will have the same page with event. It would just be a contract instead of static web page. But we can expect maybe to have a block with upcoming events and just 2 titles. And when you click, you arrive on this page, maybe. So yeah, the homepage will be about having basic DAO, homepage with basic project management, all the upcoming struct need. So we'll have a struct person, a struct team, a struct project. Maybe additional, I'm not sure yet, but at least person, team, and project. And this block system. So it's minimal because then the DevRel team can start with a hard-coded contract. So when I will do the block system, I will just hard-code everything. It will be up to the DevRel team to improve the contract to make it dynamic. But it won't be my problem anymore. My problem will be to make this homepage dynamic skeleton and then to rely on each team to improve their own realm. So this is really where we want to go. We want to go in a network of DAOs with individual autonomy, but some tools to to aggregate everything. So the home page will be one of the aggregation tools, and we'll have other tools later. But yeah, with this portal loop, we'll have better development comfort when developing locally, but we'll also have the basic set of contracts and data structure and data. So all the core member teams, all the partners will be registered on contracts in a way that where we can start experimenting with a network of DAO, what we name sub-DAOs, the network of DAOs, Works DAO, and all the independent sub-DAOs basically will exist. The first thing won't be to have dynamic vote with 2/3 of votes, blah, blah, blah. It will be about having teams that are responsible for their DAO. And then it will be up to everyone to improve what is a DAO. So we'll have multiple DAO templates. You can try to use a basic one where everyone in the team can make changes. And then maybe someone will create another template of DAO based on votes and statistics. And then it will be up to everyone to basically compose their DAO. So each DAO has a page, and just change the import of the construction. So maybe I don't know, the Gno.mod sub-project will use by default a very simple system, while the Gno.web sub-project will use very quickly a voting system because it's important or whatever reason. So yeah, we have a network of DAOs implementing an interface, allowing each DAO to specialize over time. And since we will have this eventually consistent redeploy, we don't need to make too many future-proofism migration feature yet. We can just focus on improving the Git repo, It works locally, all the tests are working. Okay, let's continue. And we can postpone something which will be needed, but that we can postpone for later, all the thing about migration, because the comfort we will have now won't be persisted once we are mainnet. Once we will be mainnet, we will basically come back to the current situation where Git and production are not synchronized. So the portal loop is for a short term on the main production, and it's for long term for local development. That's why we clearly need to just say how to make working with Gno.web and Gno.land locally can be improved and make better, stronger, more reliable, and more about sharing things. Portal loop we should expect portal loop to unlock many very small, very easily reviewable PRs. Right now we have many open PRs, maybe too much, but in practice, here we will have many additional ones. But if most of them are just in the examples folder, and we can have a system where we require all the unit tests to pass and some automated tests, we can expect to have the examples folder related PRs to be very fast to review and merge, because it's just about experimenting with applications. So basically what our people will do when they will develop on Gno.land, and they won't need approval to just deploy a contract, while we can keep the current slow process to review complex things that are changing TM to GnoVM, etc. Any other question? I will need to leave very soon.
No, I think it was just Thomas was curious what a block is here, and my question was, is the portal loop the beginning of the project management tool we've been talking about?
So a block, when I was speaking about block, was a block in terms of web page component. So a widget. Basically, you will have the main page, which will be just what we're looking for, the contribution. And then I want to introduce this concept early so that I can, in the POC, have a block managed by the event realm, which is static first. And yeah, I want to give every team the responsibility of maintaining their project, including keeping the status up to date with Gno.key, or to update their own realm. I don't know if all projects will have a realm, but for instance, for dev realm, they need one or more blocks. Maybe we'll have one dedicated for Game of Thrones, because it's a huge topic. And if someone detects another common need which is complex, but it's nice to have a preview on the home page, we should also consider adding a widget. So yeah, let's rename block with widgets. But yeah, it's a way to have this concept of hub while having independence for the teams. And for the project loop, I don't know if we can see at the beginning, but it will clearly be a change of rhythm. We will be able to use it. We won't need to use it every day, but it will be there. It will receive feedback from developers and from non-developers. So everyone in the AIB team, everyone in the community can help us just improving the project plan for the project management tool. And then it's up to the developer to develop it.
Great, thanks.
I will let you hear, and I will listen to the record. So feel free to make the usual partnership roundtable. And if you have feedback on this, I will listen in the record. And if you have questions, feel free to maybe add the comments in the main portal loop issue, which is 1108. There are sub-issues, but technically it's maybe better to centralize general discussions here and to wait for Miloš to make my mess network of issues being more usable by everyone.
Okay, thanks, Manfred. Enjoy
you.
the conference.
Bye.
Shall we keep going through the agenda then, as usual, with the contributor updates? Norman, I think from your side, you're the one here. Do you want to give a quick update on territory and if you need anything on the pull request? Okay. Okay, well, mic issues. Birdie or Jeff, do you want to give an update on no mobile and any?
I might have echoes, sorry for if that's the case. So the update on the territory team side is that we have opened the PR with all our contracts. It passes the Gno CI. We're waiting for review. We talked a bit with John, which will work on evaluation DAO, I think, and to try to put things in common with our DAO work, see what we can put in common. And I think that's it for us. We will be focusing on the VRF until we have the reviews on the main PR.
What's the PR? Which one is the PR and who has to review? Just curious.
It's the territory contracts one. Let me find it.
Yeah, because I didn't know if there was someone that was needing to review in order to unblock you guys. If that's and if there's anything else, Norman, but otherwise, I would move on to Birdie.
Sure.
Okay. As usual, you can follow our journey. Since last week, we've made a lot of progress on the gRPC interface. Remy has figured out how to, most mobile apps that we're using are written in React Native. And previously, it was necessary to go through a bridge through Java or Swift. But now the React Native can call the API functions directly, which greatly simplifies the app and improves things because the interface to protobuf has many more data types available than the interface to the language bridge. So that's good. Also, following that, the API is pretty much filled out now, including wallet functions. And so Yuri has updated our example app with some wallet functions like create account, restore account from a recovery phrase, sort of trying to get up to what Adina had done. And we did make a demo video, 5 minutes. You can watch it if you want. this was a good exercise. It brought up a couple questions. I do have one question for the group, which is, what is the difference between an account and a wallet? For example, if you have a device with maybe multiple accounts, is there one Gno wallet with multiple accounts? Or if you maintain multiple accounts, each with their own key, is each of those considered a wallet with its own transaction history? What is the terminology? What's the difference between is a wallet and an account the same thing? Whereas, in other words, does a wallet only have one account?
Oh, is this a question for the Dino's team or
Yeah,
general?
for you. How about? Or Andrew has answered in chat.
Anyone who can answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way we kind of designed the JavaScript libraries is to follow the convention that's been used by Ethers or Web3.js or any of these like libraries that manage like private keys. And in those libraries, a wallet is essentially tied to a single account. So
Okay.
there's an account and a wallet are basically like the same thing, right? A wallet is just in reality like a wrapper around a single account that gives you some functionality, right? I don't know if Adina uses like the same terminology.
So the question would be, do you restore an account or do you restore a wallet? You know, if you already have one identity on your device and you want to create a new one, do you create a new wallet or a new account?
Oof. Well, that's a tricky question. I mean, at the base level, you're always restoring and using an account. A wallet is just a wrapper around that. So I would say you're always like restoring an account. But if anybody else has a differing opinion, yeah, this is not like definite or anything. Like we don't follow any specific convention.
So we're you can see in our video, we're a little ambiguous on that right now. Okay, not a big deal. Over time, I suppose we'll converge on terminology. Yeah, great. And so our next steps are to fill out a couple more API functions. We have an open issue relating to Adena. No, I'm sorry, Amino, another A word with 3 syllables. We're using Amino. It's working great. In the end, we're creating a protobuf interface, right, with protobuf messages, and we are using all the infrastructure where we're going to publish the API documentation on Buff, like we've done with the Wesh toolkit. This is not a blocker, but when we start with a Go struct and we add comments explaining all the fields, and then we run Amino and it generates a protobuf structure, all the comments disappear. And so right now we have to then re-edit the resulting protobuf, and thank you, Michelle, and add all the comments back in. And there's also another subtlety, which is the Go code could have an enum with lots of really useful and descriptive identifiers for the different values, and that's lost also. It's not going to slow us down. We can release without it, but since we are focusing on it, a contribution we could do would be to try to add some functionality to Amino to preserve comments and enum structs. The result would be, I think, well, right now, Amino simply takes the struct and uses Go language reflection, which works okay, but that doesn't have comments. I looked at the Amino code, and it looks like its abstraction does have a field for comments. It just appears that there's nothing which creates them. or adds to them. And so I think that the next step would be to ask you, should we amend Amino's ability to actually open the Go file and parse it as a Go AST, which should have the comments? Is that a crazy idea, or is that if we were to try to do that, would that be a reasonable thing to do? Do you think?
Okay, this is a dagger question. Oof, I don't think anybody can answer this for certain. And it's a question you really need to ask Jay.
Okay.
The Amino protobuf compatibility is something that's been a pain for just like literally anything that we've been doing that it involves like, you know, something that's not built using Go. Yeah. I would save this question for Jay.
Okay, well, we'll wait. We have a weekly meeting between Bertie and Manfred, and I think we'll corner him, and you know, he can decide whether we want to waste Jay's time with this. So
yeah,
this sounds like that's what we'll look at. Like I said, it's not going to stop us from releasing GNOME Mobile, but it's something that I think other developers are going to stumble across also, and we could contribute to.
Yeah, maybe we actually, I think Jay would love an entire developer call focused on Amino. So it could be a topic. I think there are a few other people in the team who also are familiar with Amino, possibly Ilker. Yeah. But it's also part of the Cosmos SDK discussions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, that's it. We're barreling along.
Yes, and also maybe 5 minutes might be quite long, but in 2 weeks, maybe we could get like a 2-minute demo of the wallet integration, or like the wallet UI topic with GNOME Mobile.
Yeah. 2 minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
No problem.
Okay, cool. I mean, I personally would like it. Maybe others would also like to see it too.
So we can stand watching a 2-minute demo during the call. Okay.
Yeah, or 5, but
no, 5 is maybe too long.
Might lose focus.
So in the demo we bring up another issue, which now that we have Andrew here also, there is another wallet function which is to delete an account. For example, if I create an account on my mobile phone and then I import it also on my laptop, I might decide that I only want it on my laptop. So I just, as a matter of keeping track of things, I delete it on my mobile phone. The underlying key store does support delete because in the end it's just a key value store. But of course, most wallets that I've used for blockchains, if you're going to delete something, that you get all kinds of warnings like, are you sure that you have backed it up? Are you sure that you understand that if this is your only copy, you will never see your account again? I'm curious from OnBlock whether you've considered a delete function for your Adena wallet, and whether we can talk about that offline.
Yeah, actually, we already have the delete function on Adena. It only pops up when you add an extra account. So if you only have a single account on Adena, you can't really delete an account.
Okay.
But we also do have a warning page, just in case somebody.
So
deletes.
maybe I should try to invoke that again. What is the rationale behind only allowing a delete if you create a new one?
Well, the user will kind of gets awkward because we're like, after you delete the account, where do you send the user? Like, do you send them to like the initial page where you create a new what do you call it, a new account, or the seed phrase basically, or where do you send them? So we just decided to like And anyways, I also, in which case the user would want to delete their only account? Like, it's really
Right.
unlikely. So yeah.
Well, again, if you have your recovery password, it's quite possible that you have duplicated it already on another device.
Right.
So it isn't necessarily your only account. Well, we don't want to waste everybody's time. I will, with Yuri and Remy, we'll take a look at how your delete works if there's a second account, and maybe we'll ping you offline.
Sure.
All right, great, thanks. That's it.
Thanks, Jeff. Actually, speaking of unblock, want to give us a quick update, Andrew, and then can move on to Dragos.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to pass today because we actually just got back from Korean Thanksgiving week, so we were kind of out of office for the last couple of weeks, or the last week.
I also have a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, Dragos, you want to give us a quick update on Flipando?
Yes. Everybody can hear me okay?
It's a bit muffled, but yeah.
Okay, let me try to put my microphone on. Is that better? A little bit better? Is that
for
better?
me, is it for others better? Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. So as of now, you can start following the journey in the hackerspace as well. And I will try to give you a very brief update. The TLDR is that I am happy to be able to do end-to-end calls to the Flipando package. So from onboarding, deploying packages, writing realms, that actually work, call other packages, calling those realm functions from Next.js app using both Node.js, which is the thing that Milos referred, that has been improved, and I'm really looking forward to see what's new there, and Adina as well. So basically, at this point, there's only one person in the team, but I always use the term we. Probably my multiple personalities are kicking in, but I am at the point where I can start deploying, iterating much faster on this one. So that's the update on the status of Flipando. If nothing major happens, there will be a demo at the end of October as scheduled. And one more thing that I really want to add, I did quite a bit of work and research on implementing a proxy based pattern of upgradable contracts or realms. The proxy pattern is quite popular on Solidity, and I'm familiar with that pattern. My lack of Gno and Go knowledge kind of limited me into this direction, but at least I'm interested to know, and this is kind of a question for the group, if there's more interest about that. So basically what this will do will create a proxy contract in front of the actual realm, a proxy smart contract. And once we want to update the actual contract, we deploy a new contract and we update the proxy. I used two patterns with set implementation and with reflect. I kind of got blocked on reflect because, like I said, I'm not very well equipped with that. But I think this is a topic that kind of it's interesting in the long terms because many people want to kind of upgrade their contracts sooner or later, and they want to keep their name to prevent name squatting, the same way like, for instance, Uniswap contracts are deployed at the same address, and they just make upgrades to the proxies. So yeah, if anyone is interested in that, please leave a comment on the issue in Hackerspace, and I will create a separate issue space, like a space for discussions and brainstorming for this specific area. If you look over the issues, I kind of took another route, which is a little bit more hacky and ugly, but it kind of allows me to iterate more quickly. I just delete the space, the blockchain data, and start over again and redeploy my packages for now, because it allows me to deploy faster. But in parallel, I would very much want to see if they're interested in this direction, I thought. So that's my update. Thank you.
So just want to add a little bit on this. I'm not aware of Manfred's work on our demo X upgrade. Haven't checked that out. The migration issue is one that we were thinking of tackling in Gno.land, and I think we did implement, although we didn't have to use it. So let me send that in. It's kind of a slightly different use case, I think, Dragos, for what you were talking about, like for Flipando, where you want to have the address email remain the same. I think what you were saying about having like a proxy contract, so say an RD with Flipando, which then when deployed calls RD Flipando 1, but then you can call it to upgrade and instead call RD Flipando 2 is good, I think. The only thing I can spot where, like, you obviously can change the API of our Flipando, right? But yeah, I mean, to give you a bit of context, like, it's still an issue. Like, we have I think about 2 or 3 issues open on the monorepo about this, with no like clear pattern or solution found yet for how you should effectively upgrade realm. And yes, what I was going for with Gno.land was that what we needed was essentially just a way to like in case of an emergency change like the old contract to the new one. And for Gno.land specifically, like, we also had the web app from which we could change like the realm path, right? So we can make it go from being RD chest to RD chest 2. So the way I sort of implemented it, at least temporarily on this one, is to have like a migrate function that makes sure you're a given caller, like a given admin. And if you're that admin, then you get the privilege to get all the data of all these state variables of the realm, and then also disable the realm. And by disabling, I mean that you enable a Boolean flag that is checked every time like a function is called on the realm. And if the contract's been updated, then it just refuses to do anything for you. Although, yeah, like I said, like, I also think like we may end up with a few different grade patterns. I think we'll still like most likely like, I don't know if we'll implement some new native functionality to probably have contract upgrades, but yes, this hope that answers your question, or at least gives some context.
Yeah, definitely. I'll look over the issue and I'll try to get myself up to speed with all the work that has been done in this area. And if there's something that I contribute, I will definitely do. I use the proxy model, the proxy-based contract on Solidity quite a lot, and I kind of like it. It's relatively stable from a conceptual point of view, and I think it will be awesome and very simple to have something like this in order to migrate contracts on Gno. Thank you.
I'll just send the issue that we're using to tracking realm upgrade as well.
Okay. Then 694, the realm upgrade. Is it okay? I keep going through the agenda. Okay, so Zach's not here, but in case you all are interested, he and I will be hosting a workshop next week. Go to know. It'll be about his work on generating audio with smart contracts. So it's a follow-up to the first one that he did around microblogs. So sign up. Okay, so moving on. I think on the VM So Petar and Mark, since Ray's not here, I think Ray's doing a workshop on Friday around what is the no VM. Maybe we add for the whole VM topic for 2 weeks from now, and we can give updates on all of the VMs, if that sounds okay, or if there's anything that you guys want to update today. But I was going to make it kind of a group. What is no VM and how the differences?
Yeah, okay. So first regarding the GNO VM, so not the research project, but the GNO VM, there are some issues which were raised by Morgan during the GNO chess effort that we are trying to look at and to solve. And those issues regards, in fact, there is some issues regarding the slice and arrays and what happens when we try to append values and specific values like constants or nil value to it. And for this issue, I made a PR which may solve a couple of issues. And I already started to discuss with Ray about that, and he has to make a final review, I think, and then we can merge it. And the issue is quite simple, and the solution is quite simple. There is another issue that I started to work on, but for which I don't have a complete solution yet, is the issue regarding the closures that we set in a loop. So I think this is the 1135.
Okay, 1135. Yeah, because I did put in a pen slice discussion related, and there looks like issue 1117, 1170, 1167, and 99. And this one is?
Yes. And for those issues, I know what to do, but I don't know yet how to do it. And I started to discuss with Ray if he could help me or give me some insights. And the best insight that I got so far is, okay, use the debugger and go step by step to try to grasp more insights. So in fact, it's really a matter of diving deep, take a big breath, and diving very deep in the code and in the dynamic of the code, which is a kind of a crazy inceptions where you recursively parse code, accumulate things on the stack, dynamically evaluate code and things like that. So this is a matter of doing that. And okay, I'm doing that when I'm fresh enough in my brain, and I hope to find a solution for those issues, but I'm confident that we will do.
Because I think it also relates to something Thomas, right? And Morgan and Norman. All of these issues on the append slice. I don't know if there's a discussion there that can be had.
Yes, they are related to the way we manage slices and the way we manage values and the way we allocate memory as well in the VM. They are all in a way they are all related to those discussions. But from my point of view, I try to look only from the VM point of view and only from the interpreter side, and to make things as simple as I can. And I try just to have the GNO VM doing the right job. This is my first priority, and then when it does the right job, then we can look at, okay, what are the consequences and what are the interactions now when we move in distributed mode and with the VM and with the smart contract values that are exported or imported and so on. But first, solve the issues exactly where they have to be solved first before going further. So this is the strategy that we are taking so far. And now regarding the research part. So for me, this is not the Rust part, but the Go part, which is in my project Parscan. Again, the philosophy for me is try to capitalize on the fact that we have already a very strong runtime, which is the Go runtime, which already provides memory management. So there is no garbage collector to implement or to take care of. And it already provides an implementation of complex objects like arrays, slice, and maps. And even if they are not fully compatible with what we want to do, at least it's a very good starting point. And to me, it's a major simplification factor to the code that I'm doing. And the way I'm doing this project is trying to shorten the path between the source code itself. So this is the Go code or the Gno code and the bytecode that we want to produce and execute. And we already know that once we reach the bytecode, that will be hyper fast and hyper simple and also debuggable. So now the main goal for me is to make the generating code as simple and as understandable as possible. So it's super robust, super easy to understand and maintain, and also having the lowest quantity of code and the lowest complexity of code. So it's really a matter of having small functions and understandable functions. So in my first attempt, I tried to go to take a complete example that was the Fibonacci test number. So it's a recursive function, and trying to go full circle around that Fibonacci example and see if I could implement it. Now I know that I can implement it. So now I take some complex patterns in the Go language, and for example, it may seem not complex for you, but for a compiler developer, they are complex. For example, the way the types are expressed in expressions, the way you declare types, or simply the way that you declare if statements, because you have an initialization clause which is optional, then a condition which is not enclosed in parentheses. So where does it start? Where does it end? And then the body of the if statement. In fact, I try to make the parsing of those complex expressions super simple, and I find a way to make that, which allows me to work only at tokenization level. So this is the smallest and simplest part of a Go compiler. This is the tokens. This is simply assigning a value to the simplest object. So I'm working only with tokens, and I don't even have AST nodes, so syntax tree nodes, which is the syntax tree node. It's already a complex structure. It's a recursive. When you implement an AST, it's a recursive structure. So it's a node of nodes of nodes forming a tree or even a graph. I don't even have that. I just have list of tokens. So it's linear, not recursive, and super simple to manipulate. And parsing, to me, parsing Go into bytecode is simply tokenizing the source, so transforming a stream of character into a stream of tokens, and then having a set of tokens which are as close as possible as the VM set of token itself, which are the instructions, and it's mainly a matter of shuffling tokens. So I have to, for example, for expression, if I have 1 plus 2, I transform this expression into 1, 2 plus, like in reverse police notations, which is the order that the VM directly understands. So I don't need any other transformations to do that. And the same process, I try to apply the same process to the types and to all the complex patterns which are present in the Go language. And my concern was, okay, is it possible to reach the whole complexity of the Go language with such a simple way of doing things? And I think I can. I think I can do that entirely, and I started to do that step by step. So it's slow at the beginning, but the more I go and the more I progress, the more it accelerates and give benefits. And I'm starting slowly to ramp up and to accelerate and to broaden the range of what I can do, what I can achieve with that approach. And I think at the end that will be a super elegant and super simple way to parse things, and also super fast and optimal at many levels. So I'm very happy with the way it goes. We are still at the beginning of the exponential curve, so it seems to be slow, but I can promise you that it will be good at the end.
Mark, with this, so I kind of synced all of these issues, and they relate to Thomas, yourself, Morgan, Alex isn't here, and Norman, and there, I think, and also Gilham on the 1117. So the work that you're doing would actually resolve all of these pop, append, slice related issues?
This is not something that I have tested.
Okay.
I limited my test only to the VM behavior, and then I leave to them to see if it allows them to make progress.
Okay, I will do a test then, because the issue we had on Gno.chess happens only between transactions. So you cannot use the test system, the current test system in the Gno VM that is based on the folder test files. You cannot use it because it's a single transaction test system. So to reproduce the append bug, you have to do something different. But I will test with your PR if it's to see if it has fixed the problem.
Okay.
And Gilham, we were talking about the 1117.
1170, yeah.
Is there any updates needed there on this?
On the 1117, you mean?
Yeah, because it's also.
Yeah, actually, it's Morgan doing a deep review on it. I'm actually fixing and responding to his comment. So I hope it will be merged soon.
Because it's also linked to the weird bug on append from Thomas, right?
Yeah, I think it's also blocking some other PR. That's why I need to merge it ASAP.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm actually addressing Morgan comment, and I think I will merge it soon.
Yeah, the relation is with this PR, we will be able to reproduce the bug which requires multiple transactions. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably like make a challenges directory, like, you know, for those who don't know, we have like in Gno VM/test/challenges a list of like known VM bugs, and we should probably have like a challenges directory also for healing Peakstar integration tests.
Sure.
Wait, is it a competition?
No.
Okay.
No, not really. We used to have a challenge folder inside the repo to describe problems that are not solved yet.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the place where people can see if they can help or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very. I mean, for now, it's just.
It's not
like
a challenge.
We have this directory there, which is full of VM bugs, and if anyone wants to like, dig their head deep into VM bugs, like that's where they would would need to go.
Okay, so then on the just the conclusion on that topic of the pen size pop, etc. Because I think also like Norman Thomas was responding to, it requires some tests.
Yeah, ideally, like just to verify, like, you know, Kickstarter, it's good to verify if we actually fixed it, and you know, what panic we get out of it. But yeah, together with Kickstarter, we should be able to make further effort on fixing that.
Okay, so then in 2 weeks, I guess we can also have B1T or Q2 give an update on the workshop that he's running this week. There was an oldie that I pulled up. Maybe it's not, I know Antonio's already talked about it a lot, but I was just curious. It seems like a longstanding issue for mainnet. It's 812, and I didn't know it's, it had come up before on a call, the set cache package. Does it require any updates? Does it require updates from May? Like, does it need anything?
I think it requires more research, like,
Okay.
and trying to understand possible solutions. Antonio, please. Sorry.
Is there an open issue for the research, or?
Yeah, I think we want to like to improve a lot all the store layer. So this issue might be one of the many of them to improve the storage layer. Yeah, and it needs more research to know exactly how it works.
Yeah, and to answer your question, like, you know, we already have this this issue, and it's not like we can forget that we need to do like research on how to improve the store layer, right? I think that's actually something like Antonio wants to actively work on, right? So there's that.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I was like, this is not a important problem that should be fixed for the release, but it's not a bug. It's a bug, but it's not like avoiding people to use the Gno VM or Gno.land or the Gno web binary. It's something that might happen. Like someone can force an out of memory error, but it's not high priority on the context of the release. We have like more important bugs to fix.
Okay, sometimes I'm going through the main Gno.land and looking for the topics that have been tagged like this. I don't know. So I think, so I mentioned Ray's not here, but and Albert's not here. The question for you, Antonio, since the conversation's quite new, should we add the hackerspace go demode issue 41 for next time? Or do you want to introduce it? And I don't know if people can give feedback and comment.
I can give a brief introduction about the idea.
Okay.
So the mode, pun intended, Go diction mode. So basically, it's what they want to propose here is a way to use standard Go to be able to write realms and packages directly using your default IDE, your default local configuration, Go tests, and everything like you are used to work with Go. So to be able to do this, what we need is a way to create a bridge between the standard Go way of working and the Gno world. So for that, we need some special tricks. One of them is a Go mode proxy implementation I created like long time ago. So basically, that Go mode proxy is able to serve you Gno code directly from the chain and parse it to Go, so you can like import any realm or any package that is living inside the blockchain. Also, the other part is the STD library. So we need a way to mock the STD library to be able to create like unit tests without the need of having like a running Golang node under the hood. Yeah, just to be able to work directly with Go binaries and Go test and all the existing ecosystem. Yeah, it's basically a bridge between two worlds. And if you want to know more, and if you have any questions or like something that you want to like to say, like you don't know how some things will work together, will be nice if you want to add more comments inside the issue. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. I like the nominizer. Nominizer. From Morgan as well in there. Does anyone have or take a look at it? And then maybe in 2 weeks we can talk about it. I think everything we've covered, mostly all the other stuff, the loop. Morgan, we did get an update from Milos around Node.js, but if you wanted to give a quick about your plans.
Sure. So I don't know what Milos said, so I think at the cost of maybe repeating myself, also for mental clarity, I'll just do a quick catch up. So we did. I did the workshop last week at the at GopherCon, and we're working on getting the video out as well. And the workshop went well, I believe. We had some people who were interested and asked us questions, and all in all, there seemed to be interest by Gophers about what we were doing, especially in the second part of the conference where we had folks actually play on the platform. So all in all, we count that there are around 60 addresses playing on the platform. If I recall correctly, the exact number was 62. Some of them were us, like me, Milos, Alexi, and so on. So I'd say a fair number is around 50 people playing on the platform. It hasn't completely fallen apart, which is a success considering how hard it was to get it all set up. But yeah, like I can say that I'm very, very happy where we managed to get with Gno.js. And I think like it's shown, like I think it was very important that me and Milos did this like for the Gno side in terms of the Gno project. Of course, like because like we've seen firsthand like a lot of problems and like a full development flow of a Gno that we wouldn't have been able to see before, or we would only have known through you guys' experiences, right? So I think it's important that we did some very good dog fooding. So now that the dust has kind of settled, the onward plan for Gno.js, as far as I can see, is to try to get it wrapped up a bit and integrate Adina into the platform and like remove the token system, with the idea of like relaunching the project while it is like making it like quote unquote generally available, in the sense that you don't need to go on the sign up form to use it and so on. So make it something that anyone on the internet can just go on the website, get signed up, and start playing chess with others. Although there may not be too many people to play, but that's still whoever signs up to find people, right? And aside from that, I think there are like one of the things that I want to further develop on that I didn't have enough time to do during the last month before the workshop is that I want to expand on the tutorial section that I worked on for the workshop. So the way I did the workshop was essentially that we're in 3 parts. And in the first 2, like after giving a bit of an explanation, I asked everyone in the room to follow along on their computers and try developing something with Gno on their laptops. With varying degrees of success. Some people, were just at the first tutorial the entire time, but somebody got like a bit further ahead. But yeah, I want to expand on that, and sort of the way I see it, like Gno test could turn into being a good introduction for anybody who's coming from Go and wants to start working on Web3 in general or Gno specifically. And so be like an introduction from that point of view instead, like specifically from that point of view as well. Yeah, I think an idea is that if we have the chance to like have it again in other workshops, like I want to have like better structured workshops in that regard, where we are introducing the concepts of a bit more intensely, but also in a more like effective manner. Yep, that's it for me from my side. If there's anybody who wants to like discuss something, of course, please raise it up.
Anyone? No, I can say I enjoyed the tutorial.
Silly question. So you're going to integrate a wallet and it'll generate an account. Is there going to be an automatic faucet which adds coins for a new user to the chain? What's your thought on that?
So thanks to the wonderful work done by Milos, that is something that we set up for Gno test. So everybody in there from there, like when they went to the Gno test website, like the token was just like a password that they passed on to the faucet in order to get the GNOT essentially. But like the flow that is already in place is that there's like the Gno.js client generating a new wallet for every user that comes onto the website. So yes, it's exactly as you said. Like we have an automated faucet which is capable of holding many more funds than the previous one, and is much better by many points of view. Again, big kudos to Milos for developing this, and especially like in such a time-sensitive manner. And yeah, the deployed version will also have that probably. Like yeah, I will need to figure out the details, because after discussing with Manfred, I think we want to have that you can either use Adena to demonstrate like the integration with an actual wallet, right? So how dApps will actually work in mainnet, but also just have it as a way that you can use it without a wallet extension installed, so that it's something that we can use to show functionality like on a mobile phone, say even to our friends, family, coworker, ex coworkers, and so on.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, there's only two more things, so we'll probably finish quite quickly. One is I just thought I put it on there as Leon has joined us recently and brought up questions that it's issue 1165, and since we're trying to sometimes have more open-ended, I don't know, Leon, do you want to run just a quick overview of the 1165 and the question/answer?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, the issue that Michal is talking about is I came across this thing generally because I was writing some tests in GNO and I didn't know how to manipulate some of the blockchain context within the tests. So for example, you might want to change the block height within your test to a specific block height in order to test, for example, a deadline or something like that. So I didn't know how to do that, and I just posted this issue. And then Manfred clarified it quite well. There are functions within the test utils package where you can just manipulate the height. And currently the time is also, I think the time manipulation is being specifically built right now. So there's a PR for that, or an issue for that. And other than that, this whole thing could have been avoided, I guess, in some sense, if we were building the docs, which we are doing right now. So we're planning to have a V1 of the docs, or like an alpha version of the docs in like maybe until middle of October or something. Not exactly sure, but Milos is working on that. I'm helping with him, and John from Devrel is also helping. So we will have that, which will clear up a lot of the just, I don't want to say misconceptions, but the whole point is to just, instead of digging through source code, just be able to go to the docs and just go to a testing section and see how everything works. Well, I'll just post this issue if anybody wants to have the read for it. It's in the chat. And another thing that I wanted to mention, yeah, right now you can still manipulate the time in tests, but you can, if you read the issue, you'll understand. You can basically just add, you can do the time.add from Go, but it's a bit sloppy, like the way it's implemented, and you can't really counter it too much. But yeah, that's about it for this issue. And then another thing that I wanted to mention, maybe regarding the tests, is, for example, so this is just an example, but say you have a test file which has 3 separate tests within. There are unit tests. For example, if you set the caller, the original, so the caller within the test, for example, you want to simulate that you are calling from your own address within the test. If you set it within the first test, that caller will still be the same in the next one and in the next one. So the context is kept in between. And I was discussing this with Milos, and it's because of some way that the VM itself is implemented. So there's like a global. I don't know exactly how this is implemented, but he basically mentioned that there's a global state that manages that, and that is something that I think is going to be changed at some point. So the idea is just to keep in mind that when you write tests, you retain the context from the previous tests, which might not be well, if you look at Ethereum, if you look at Hardhat, or like some other classic Web3 development kits, unit tests usually reset their state in between. So like I just came across that, and I was kind of baffled because I didn't really know how it worked, and I had to spend some time to figure it out. And like that all will be included in the docs, so people don't waste too much time on digging around and then hitting their head against the wall. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool, thanks. Okay, last but not least, maybe in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, Petar, the language specification updates. I know we have, just for context, we have a Gno.land working group that we've been doing for a while, and we're picking back up now that GopherCon's over. But Petar, do you want to give a quick update there? And then we've...
Sure. For everyone on the team that's already heard this stuff, plug your ears. If it will make you vomit, that was a joke. Last couple of days, I was working on package initialization. It's more or less done. Some caveats about the analysis, but the algorithm is correct. It's about how do you compile your global declarations in such a way where, like if you have a function that uses a data structure that is defined after, meaning below on the file. To solve this problem, I used standard techniques, which is a dependency graph and compiling in topological order. I'm getting pretty close in implementing the whole spec, not bug-free, of course. I have no tests, so there's going to be plenty of bugs, but the design is there. The design and the implementation is all there, almost. Today I did some digging around because things progressed much faster than I thought. So I looked a little bit ahead in what it would take to add a JIT compiler at this point to the current design. My main concern was the garbage collector might have presented serious issues, but it turns out that that's not going to be a problem at all. So yes, the JIT compiler would be a lot of work, probably at least 3 months, probably more, meaning to support everything in the language. But there is no problem with integrating that.
Okay. I guess that's good news.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. So I'm also thinking about implementing concurrency the way it is in Go. So I want to have a fully functional virtual machine as it's in the spec. And after that, well, concurrency development doesn't need to block the next step, but so on master branch, we'll have a fully working Go VM as everything Go has and works exactly the same way. And in another branch, we'll have the virtual machine that we need for the contracts as changing the initialization, for example, the stuff that we need specific to our use case. That would be nice because you'll get many more people interested in the VM contributing from outside. And as far as the concurrency model, the great thing is that Rust already has an amazing library for that, which is called Talk.io, which basically works almost the same way as the Go runtime in the Go compiler. So I can just reuse that, and it's not that simple. I'm making it sound like it's going to be super easy, but it's not going to be easy. But the idea is that we don't need to write a new runtime from scratch, because that would be terrible. It's going to be very hard, but luckily we have a runtime we can use.
Jeff, you raised your hand, or?
Yeah. You have an issue discussing determinism with concurrency. I imagine that is a rat's nest.
Yes, it is. So far, we have no proposals for actual deterministic concurrent runtimes. So as far as now, as far as we're concerned, we're not going to implement that for actually running contracts. That's kind of a research topic, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if that's then the agenda is complete. I think that next time we can do the NoVM overview from B1T and maybe the tokenomics update from Michael. That sounds good for everyone. And I think we will possibly be adding a road to mainnet topic on these as well. Anyone have questions, feedback, or thoughts before we sign off and speak on Slack? Okay. Thanks everyone for your time, and see you guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Thomas.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.